India through to the Super 8 with 4 wins under their belt. This one against Netherlands, 17 runs. Although this game, Suryakumar Yadav was in an experimental mode. He's used a whole lot of bowlers. Varun Chakravarti once again the pick of the bowlers. He's picked up 3 wickets, given away just 14. Bastili 33 of 23, but India finally win with 17 runs in the last over. We're back at Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami Kher. I've got Murali Kartik and Zach with me. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Thank you.
This game felt like from the toss, Suryakumar Yadav wanted to put pressure on the bowlers, wanted to experiment. We've used 7 bowlers. So today's agenda was to warm up all those who are sitting on the bench.
Well, you got a lot of things out of the game. Looking at what's going to happen in the Super 8, the planning and the thought process, you have to give them credit for. I think, these kind of games, you have to look at it in this fashion. Different situations, different individuals, making use of the opportunities through and through the game. Winning the toss, batting first was the beginning of that. Shivam Dube bowling some overs, Washington Sundar getting a game, Hardik bowling in different situation. New ball is something I think which they'll go back to. Bumrah bowling with the new ball, not finishing the quota of overs. Shivam Dube bowling that last over. I think all in all, Abhishek Sharma also bowling that one over. All in all, I think they've got a lot out of this game. Looking at keeping an eye on the next phase of the tournament as well.
Well, like Zach is saying, Kartik, lots of bowlers used today. It was just seeing whose shoulder is feeling good going into the Super 8.
More than that, I think getting everybody ready. You never know when there's a clutch situation and you want people to be ready. And at the end of the day, you're playing an international side. Yes, you have qualified, but still there is pressure to perform. Yes, they didn't go full steam astern or ahead, as one says. They have enough in the tank. They had enough in the reserves. I, for one, very happy that Bumrah starts the bowling. I've always been saying this. I've been a huge fan of the best people taking on the mantle early on. And I think Bumrah starting, even if he has to bowl just 1 over, I think I'm happy that he did that. He bowled 2 in the power play. And once again, Varun Chakravarti showing why he's so good. Without even blinking an eye, blinking an eyelid, he just picked up 3 wickets for nothing. And just good to see that India steamrolled the opposition in spite of not going full tilt. And that is something which is very good for the team. You know the kind of strength that they have. In spite of a few players not performing, you have enough strength. People like Rinku can walk in first ball. He's only that much, but he can whack the ball into the second tier of a stadium. So all in all, India will be pretty pleased with the way they went about it.
Well, he had a 4-ball 11 the last game as well. So we know the power Rinku brings to the side. But talking about the match today, Zach, at the Combox, India were 1 wicket up. India was 74 for 3 and Netherlands were 72 for 2. So they were evenly poised there. Then at the 15th over, both these teams had made 115. India had 118. India had 1 wicket lesser. It just talks about India's firepower and the depth in batting that we had, which made India win this game.
Well, when you look at it, you are expected India to go past 200.
Yes.
So that's how the game was unfolding. That's the kind of firepower which India has in their batting. So from that point of view, maybe the condition today, the pitch was on the slower side. We did touch upon bowlers using those cutters. We saw that in the second innings as well as the game was unfolding. And the ball was getting older. It was that much difficult for batters to take advantage of. So those factors were there. Varun Chakravarti was always going to be that factor. Bumrah was always going to be that factor. India didn't go full tilt, so they were experimenting as well. They were getting the bowlers some game time and seeing how a certain bowler responds in a match situation, in a pressure situation like that. So putting together, you were going to see something of that sort. You have to give credit to Netherlands as well. I think they showed intent. That is something which was noticeable. Those ramp shots, those sweep shots, all those kind of things were a part of the plan from their side. They were managed. They managed to execute those shots also to a certain degree. But I think on the whole, even though they were neck and neck by the 10-over mark, we knew that when the pressure is going to be on, they will not be able to sustain it to the level. So they put up a fight. India was in the experimental mode. All in all, it was a decent game for Netherlands, but India was the strongest side, which was evident.
Well, on paper, 17 runs doesn't feel all that bad, but like you said, they didn't use Jasprit Bumrah entirely. Lots of bowlers were used. Abhishek bowled as well.
Varun didn't bowl his quota of 4.
Varun didn't bowl his quota either. So a total of 7 bowlers used. That's the most India has used in the T20, second most India has used in the T20 World Cup. But this speaks volumes of what India wanted to do today, Kartik. Even the previous game, because we were in such a comfortable position, Bumrah didn't finish his quota.
Yeah, and I think as long as you know that you've got the winning hand, you can do all these things. It's only when you're put into a tricky situation, that is when you know that certain things need to be done. And as long as I said, you're in a comfortable position, you're coasting, as a superior side, you want to try those things. I think you wouldn't fault the captain for doing it. And he's pretty chilled out. Most of the time, you don't see him pretty animated. He's enjoying if the opposition plays a good shot. He is pretty okay with the bowlers. He's quick to run around to a bowler and say, that's fine if you've gone for runs, as long as the plans are intact and we're getting hit where we want to get hit. I think things are fine. And you want that. You want that everybody be ready. Everybody gets some game time. Everybody gets some bowling time. And as Zach said, there are times where you never know who might be required.
Yes.
And you're preparing people for that. It's as simple as that.
Well, Bumrah came out and opened the bowling today, and Hardik came in, I think, in the 8th over. Clearly, he, like you said, he wasn't very happy not bowling with the new ball because he's gone for 40 in his 3.
Well, I think his comfort lies with bowling an over or two with the new ball in the power play as the game is unfolding. That's something which we've seen, and I have a feeling that Kartik often speaks about Bumrah being used with the new ball, but I think in the next phase they'll go back to using Hardik with the new ball. That's something which, even though it looks defensive, I think in the long run, that's something which gives them that comfort and cushion of using Bumrah in that fashion. So if Arshdeep is not playing, then obviously Hardik and Bumrah opens the innings. So I think that will be the debate. And I think those are the things which they wanted to fine tune going in the next phase. Just to find those answers, like, is Shivam Dubey that option if someone is having an off day? Is he going to be that option? Is Abhishek going to be that option as a left arm spinner? And Washington Sundar, where he stands right now as he's come back. So all those kind of factors were looked at. This was the dress rehearsals of sort. You already qualified, so you can experiment these and make use of these opportunities. What happens in Super 8, I think the first game will give you that clue of what's coming.
Well, for Netherlands, they'll be happy with the 176 that they put on. The first top 4 batters, they all got off to starts. No one could really put their hand up and say that let's convert into a bigger one. And then even towards the end, those cameos of 26, 25, where, of course, India was experimenting with the ball, Kartik. But overall, for Netherlands, if there was a senior man like, Ackerman or Bastilleed, Max O'Dowd, who would put their hand up and gone to like a 60, things could have been different.
Yeah, and also with a better strike rate. When you look at that scorecard again, you want the top order to kickstart things for you, to fire everything up, and then people can actually take the baton from there. But it's been the other way around. At the end of the day, when you are pushed to a corner, you have to play in a certain way, and those strike rates reflect that. You look at the way 200, 208, 162, 150, 153, 143, but you want the top 2 to have gone at possibly something like that to give them a good start. There was a stage where they were 24 after 4 or something like that, or even lesser. Yeah, so you don't want that. I know you're up against a Bumrah. It's not going to be easy. But could they have shown more intent? Maybe. The kind of things which we saw later on, the reverse scoops and a bit of proactiveness or a bit of inventiveness from the other batters, possibly the top order could have shown that. Maybe they could have made a better fist of it, but at the end of the day, it's the superior mind. It would have asked a lot out of Netherlands to create an upset, even though India didn't try everybody. And I think that's where the gulf is. There's a huge gulf between the two sides.
Having said that, this is their highest score for Netherlands, like, without a 50 or a half century in that individual lineup. You spoke about the gulf, but when in the green room, we were chatting about how this team is looking pretty impressive. So these associate member nations have a bright future. Netherlands, of course, has impressed us in the past as well.
Well, I think this format allows you to be like that, isn't it? This format is unpredictable. It's a shorter format. So one batter, like you said, without the 50, they're managing to get to 176. Making use of the power play is something, which will be a biggest takeaway for them from this game. In spite of just scoring 36, 37 in the power play, they still managed to get to 176. So you got to make use of that, even though, and that's the way modern cricket is evolving. In this format especially, you can't lose that phase of the game. You can risk a couple of wickets in that. And then one batter going on to get a good total, 50 plus, 60, 70, that really anchors one side of the pitch. And then, you have the pressure being put on the opposition, and you can really create some magic. So I think, that's something for Netherlands to take back and prepare as they come back. But this team has been consistently featuring in these tournaments.
Yes.
That's the positive sign. They've created upsets in the past. They've shown intent. By and large, when you look at them, you'll see that they absorb pressure. Today also, when the bowling plans, you get a feeling that, there is enough communication happening around that what is it going to take. So those are the positives. You need to continue on this journey, and you need to find those one or two players maybe, who's going to take the game on right from the word go, especially with the bat in hand, to create that impact.
Zach, you're talking about this journey. There's Suryakumar Yadav on the other side. His journey as a batter, we've spoken about in the pre-match, mid-match as well. He was very impressive when India were in trouble. He was a rescue man. But Kartik, I want to talk about Suryakumar Yadav's captaincy, because it's a very, very difficult job to be the captain of the Indian cricket team. A championship side, he had to lead that side, coming in so many questions about selection, about why you're playing this 11. Indian fans always have a lot of questions. Have you been impressed with the way he's gone about things?
I've always been pretty impressed. He's pretty chilled out in the way he carries himself inside the field and also outside the field. I think there is a part of Rohit Sharma which I see. I think he's pretty communicative with his players. I think he backs his players. That is something which we always got to see with Rohit Sharma, because we've always been talking about communication. There are so many people snapping at each other's heels to make a place for themselves in the side. So there is a lot of competition, which means there is a lot of expectation from people, from themselves, and everybody is good enough.
Yeah.
You can hardly, there are so many other people who are vying for a spot. Think of Yashasvi Jaiswal. He would have felt that I should have been here. Jitesh Sharma, he did really well. Why is he out of the side? Ruturaj Gaikwad. There are so many players who are good enough to make this 15. And then you are the captain of people who are coming in, going out. You're yourself struggling for form. So you want to find your own voice in the side. And also, I think as captains, you want people to come to you. You don't want them to be intimidated by you. You are, at the end of the day, a father figure for them. So the way he handles himself, the way he communicates, it's always been pretty impressive. Even on the ground, I hardly see him losing his cool.
Yes.
It is a dynamic format. It's a high-octane format. And he's pretty chilled out. He smiles. He's got his own mannerisms and idiosyncrasies, which we get to see. But it's good to see him. Every press match or post-match presentation, always smiling, always joking.
Yes.
I think it's a great trait to have.
Well, he's almost picked up from Rohit when we talk about joking in press matches, but in press conferences. But Suryakumar Yadav, the other day, Zach, we saw that little bit of agitation where, there was so much spoken when Kuldeep and he brushed each other and went. Immediately, it becomes this big headline-making thing, saying, "Inke beech mein kya ho gaya?" and at 3 times and all of that. And then the next day, you come out and Suryakumar Yadav will put out this reel which just kind of diffuses everything. So that's the communication you're talking about. He makes sure it reaches the fans as well. Not only just the team, but also the fans.
Well, look, I think, when you're playing game of cricket, when things happen on the field, the emotions are running high. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, you react. There is nothing wrong with that. End of the day, you're spending enough time with your teammates, and you should have that kind of a bond as well. So I think, what you're talking about is just a reflection of that, okay, that was that moment there, but that doesn't mean that the world has come to an end, and we're not going to see eye to eye, all those kind of things. It's just gone. That moment is gone. Move on. We have a tournament to play, and those kind of things. I think today, when you're talking about this game, India has approached it in the most experimental fashion, and all those kind of things. Maybe one trick which Surya missed and he should have taken advantage of was going into bat at number 3, because off spinner was bowling. The first wicket had fallen. Today was maybe that flexibility which they've been talking about between him and Tilak. To create that left-right combination in the middle was the opportunity. So that's something for him to think about, because I understand when you are leading in the tournament with lack of runs. Now you in the tournament, you've been scoring runs. That one thing of sending a very strong positive signal that, okay, if need be, I can bat at number 3 as well. Maybe that was missed from today, but other than that, I think he's been very consistent with his changes. He has these two trump cards when you're talking about bowling, Bumrah and Varun, which he's been using very well. Today also it was a classic case, isn't it? Like midway, 10 overs done. It's pretty much neck and neck. Varun comes back in, takes the wicket, the pressure is off. Similarly with Bumrah, he's been doing it time and again. I think the real challenge is going to be, if one of them is having an off day, then suddenly you kind of feel that pressure. How are you going to adjust that? It is something which you got to be ready for. But with the changes, with how he's been approaching, with the kind of consistency which this T20 team has achieved, has been commendable.
Well, Kartik, as a captain, there's probably one thing he'd like to look upon is that India have dropped 9 catches in this tournament. It's the second most in this tournament. So maybe that's something you'd want to look upon.
That is something they've been talking about for a long time. And I know that every time a catch gets dropped, the camera pans towards T. Dilip, who's the fielding coach. He puts in a lot of hours. But this is something which I touched upon at the beginning of the tournament. Because we are so close to the team, watching them, commentating with them, we are very good with our bat, we are very good with the ball, but there are lots of slow movers on this side. That is something which they have to watch out for. You take the 15, there are lots of fielders who are not as fleet-footed. There was once a stage where around the world, India was hailed as one of the best fielding sides. This was when Virat was captaining and all that. But right now, we've got gun batters, gun bowlers. As a team, we are doing exceptionally well. So you don't want to try and fix something which is not broken. But when it comes to fielding, that is something which they have been working. We see that they put a lot of effort into fielding, but still, we are still missing catches. And we are still not the fastest on the field, which is what the sport demands. But as long as we are making up with the bat and the ball, I suppose. But that is definitely something which they need to keep an eye on.
Well, as fans as well, we are like parents who get those report cards. We want an A+ in every department.
Everything. Absolutely.
But A doesn't
100
work.
102 on 100.
102 on 100. That's what we want.
Well, in crunch games, these things matter, isn't it? Like, the next phase is going to be crucial one, then the semis and the final. So for any team to win the tournament, everything has to fall in place. When it matters in the crunch scenario situation, a brilliant catch can win you the game. And we've seen it in the last finals. Surya himself, who was fielding on the boundary line, runs 10-15 meters on the left, catches that important catch of Miller, right?
No, Miller.
Yes.
So that is something which matters. So catches are going to be important. If the number is on the higher side right now, they have the time to recover and address that, because in the crunch games, that's going to matter.
Well, as a 90s kid, that statement, boy, you've just dropped the World Cup. We know what catches mean. Everyone's grown up watching it. But let's have a look at what happened in the group stages. In Group A, of course, India are through with 4 wins. And earlier today, Pakistan got that Q next to their name. It was a high-pressure game against Namibia because they had to win, but they are through. So it's India and Pakistan in Group A. Let's have a look at Group B and see who gets in Group B. There is Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe who've qualified in Group B. Of course, the big upset there at Zimbabwe beating Australia, and they had to pack their bags and go back Australia, which is a big one. Let's have a look at what happened in Group C and see the two qualifiers there. West Indies and England are through in Group C. Italy did win their first game. Nepal did win a game as well, and there were, some really heartwarming stories there, but West Indies and England through. And finally, Group D, we've got South Africa and New Zealand who are through to Group D's qualifications. Unfortunate for Afghanistan because lots was hoped that they'd make it, but it is South Africa and New Zealand. So this is where the groups stand, gentlemen. So now we know who the 8 teams are going to be. We'll have a look at Group 1 and Group 2. Group 1 is, of course, West Indies, India, Zimbabwe and South Africa. And in Group 2, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, New Zealand and England. Gentlemen, Kartik first, how excited are you with these two groups, evenly poised?
Absolutely, I would say. I think with Zimbabwe and Sri Lanka causing those upsets, everybody would have put Australia as one of the top favourites or put them as favourites to at least qualify for the semi-finals. So they've been shown the door. Afghanistan nearly caused an upset against South Africa. So interestingly, that was a tough group. Group D was a tough group. So it's South Africa and New Zealand who have made it. So I think in our group, we have got South Africa, which we play on, I'm talking about India.
22nd,
we play on the 22nd. So that's going to be a crucial game. You've got Zimbabwe, and which is the other side in our group. Oh, this is West Indies. West Indies. So West Indies have gone about their job pretty silently. It was interesting. Before the first game, when Darren Sammy, the coach said 2016 we were given no chance. We came in quietly and they ended up winning it. They've come in very quietly. Nobody's given them a chance. Everybody's spoken about how much they need to evolve. They're very good with their hitting, but they need to turn their strike around. They've quietly topped their group.
But they like playing in India and Sri Lanka 2012 and 2016.
Suits them. Yeah, it suits them. It suits them. The small boundaries, the wickets are very similar to how they are right now in West Indies and climatically pretty warm, so they are pretty happy over here, and all of them have been coming here. They're all used to playing franchise leagues and playing in the IPL for such a long time. So yeah, it's an interesting one. And on the other side, you've got Sri Lanka and Pakistan. Pakistan is going to stay in Sri Lanka, and then you've got New Zealand, and the fourth team is England. So again, yeah, we are nicely poised groups, I would say.
Zach, was these in your top 4 now, if you have to change your prediction? Because I'm sure you all had Australia in your Super 8 stage.
Yeah, everyone were expecting Australia to go to the next phase. That was a big shocker for everyone, a big setback. But when you're looking at the business end of the tournament right now, as we are entering in the next phase, the balance of the teams are going to matter. I think, the sides which have got decent balance of seam and spin bowling, also enough power in the batting department is something, which is going to matter quite a lot. I think Sri Lanka is a dark horse, I feel, in that other group. They've been putting up some good performances, some good energy on the field. You've seen Nissanka scoring that brilliant 100. Plucking that catch at point, which was brilliant. So I think the team is shaping up well there. New Zealand is another team which is showing those signs. England is having up and down kind of a tournament, but they can pick up at any stage. We've seen that in tournaments like World Cup, isn't it? Like some teams having a tough one phase, but suddenly recharge in the next phase. So England, New Zealand, and Sri Lanka are going to be those 3 teams. Maybe two from them will go through. Is what my feeling is. Sri Lanka being the dark horse, I feel. Maybe Sri Lanka and New Zealand, if I have to pick the 2.
Yes.
And from this side, I think India and South Africa, both have that kind of a balance. You look at South African team as well. They might be having some tough games, but when you're looking at that balance and power in that batting lineup, along with the spin balance which I'm talking about. Like, Keshav Maharaj provides them that, can tonk as well a little bit. West Indies also have that kind of a balance with fast bowlers and spinners and a lot of power in batting. But I think South Africa and India from this group is something you can expect to go
So
through.
for you, is India, South Africa in Group 1, and Group 2, it is Sri Lanka and England? Or
No,
New Zealand?
New Zealand.
For you?
I don't know whether I'll stick my neck out because it's been that kind of a tournament. I would like to say we should pick 3-3 from each side. 2 amongst those 3 will go through because it's an interesting one.
Easy. Now that you're a prediction
There are no
hero.
points for that.
No, I'm not
No,
saying
you're not-
points, but I just still feel West Indies
is
are
not a
a dark
prediction
horse
game.
from our group as well. And if one of them caused an upset, it could completely spill
but
the
you gotta pick
scales.
2.
Interesting. So I obviously just on form, I'll have to go with or superiority of the teams, as you said, from the first group, it has to be India and South Africa. From the second group, I know England, they don't have that kind of teeth in their bowling, but they are a very strong batting side. So I'm going New Zealand and England.
All right, just the last question. For India, West Indies, South Africa, Zimbabwe, which one is that one fixture which India will be worried about?
I would say worried about, but I think setting the tone, looking at the last World Cup finalists, South Africa, they are also coming in with that kind of a thought process. They came very close to winning the trophy, have not been able to, but they've been putting up a good squad together. They've been playing some good cricket. Like I mentioned, the balance is also good. I think that one team is going to be that game is going to be a good tough game for India, and it happens that it's going to be the first fixture for them in that phase. So I think if you set that tone right, that is the toughest game. You win that, everything is going to fall in place.
Yeah, absolutely. They got the monkey off their back by winning the World Test Championship. They were faltering at this last stage or final stage, and that was good for them. And you've seen a transformation. They came to India and defeated India in India.
Yes.
They are a tough side. They are a very good white ball side. They're a good fielding side. Yes, today was an aberration because against UAE, there were so many catches dropped by some fine fielders in the morning when I was watching the game. And it's also the first game, as Zach said. South Africa is the team to watch out for, or possibly the toughest opposition in this group.
All right, the Group 8s, of course, start on the 21st. We have a few games before that. It's been a long day, but it's been a very fruitful day, especially for Murali Kartik. I'll get to that, but first we have to answer the joy factor question of the day, which also Murali Kartik had the answer to. Here's the question. In international cricket, if Brett Lee is the first and Romario Shepherd's the last, who is the first Indian?
This is
I
to do
will
with
let the
hat-tricks.
camera come on you. Wait, you have to get the glory.
Look, I'm not an actor, na?
Yeah.
I don't know when the camera will come and all
Now the
these
camera is
things.
on you, you can gloat.
Okay,
You
the
can
camera
go-
is on me.
Yes, you can look into camera. And
So I
give
had to give it a long, hard thought.
that we are aware.
Especially when it comes to Joyda. It is to do with hat-tricks. And it's Deepak Chahar. Yeah, Deepak Chahar was the Indian to pick up. For the
Well
first time, there was
done,
something which was
Murali Kartik.
simple for me to understand.
Well done. I'm going to let you gloat because I got it right as well.
Yeah,
but I'm
correct.
going to let you have the glory.
No. We don't
I'm
have to
going let
gloat.
you.
We just once in a while flash in the pan.
The humility, the humble Murali
As they
Kartik.
say that
Humble
every dog
right.
has a day.
Well, let's have a look at who got it correct besides Kartik, of course. Darpan Sharma has gotten it correct. Darpan, your names come quite a few times. I'm sure this was very, very easy for you. So, Joyda needs to pull his socks up a little bit because if me and Kartik are getting it,
If we
then
are
Darpan's
getting-
going to get it for
exactly.
sure, right?
Correct.
But now comes that time in the day when it will have to have only Murali Kartik in that single frame with drum rolls rolling for him because he's got 3 out of 4 wins today. He's gone and asked the producer to take a new photograph of himself as well because he wanted a new picture when he comes up top there. He's gone past me and is at number 1. Well done.
Amazing.
You ended up saying Murti Kartik. Murti lagi hui hai.
No, I said Murali, but I think you want a Murti of yours at Cricbuzz. I said Murali, but I think because you've got 3, you want to next
Have a
time
statue,
onwards
na?
have a Murti
He's
of
got
him.
the easy phase, like I said. The first phase of the tournament is just
Look
over.
at
The
look
second
at
phase is
skeptics
going-
and naysayers. He's one right next to me.
Well, I think, Zach, your sledging was not up to mark. Next time when you're allowed to
People
get
when they sledge me, I
you're
get
going to need to really go a
It
bit
has
stronger.
a very slow but very effective
slow poison.
result.
Yeah, you're playing for the tournament. You don't play for just these single games. These double.
Like I said, first phase is over. The predictable phase is over. The unpredictable phase is coming now.
Well,
Business end of the tournament.
Zach is sitting there like Nostradamus with his hands here on that crystal ball. So, well,
Look, I can only go down from here. That's why that photograph is nice. I think I should keep a screenshot of it for a while.
yes, you've got a screenshot from the Champions Trophy as well, but we'll let you have the screenshot because he's got a choice of his photograph as well up there. So it's a great day. Hasn't this been one of your best day at Cricbuzz?
In terms of prediction, yes.
And joy factor.
Yeah, true.
Otherwise,
4
he
out of
didn't like
5
our
then.
company.
Yeah.
4 out of 5.
But that
right?
means he's saying only in terms of prediction and joy factor, he didn't really enjoy our company. Zach.
Exactly.
I'm not getting sledged any further. Dead bad.
There was silence to that, so we will go hurt with broken hearts because Kartik didn't enjoy our company, but I really enjoyed his company because he's a sport. He lets us pull his leg. And Zach, of course, loved the sledging you started with. Next time a little stronger. Thank you so much. It was a nice long day, but a good entertaining one.
Absolutely.
Thank you everyone for watching as well. That's all we have time for right now. Good night and goodbye.